All right, everybody. I'm going to change the lighting. Oh, that's much better. Well, how's the screen, though? Well, we'll have to hope the screen works. Welcome to my humble little office. The panel had a wonderful idea to do the live stream tonight, which was great. We'll do the rankings right before RSL. We'll hype everyone up to go to RSL, and then nobody could come. So, I'm here, and there's 6 people watching. I'm just logging on. Oh, that's black and white. I did not want to be in black and white. That's silly. Oh, bubbles. Wow, that's something. Maybe we just stick to normal. Crush. Normal's good. All right. So a little less exciting than normal, but here I am. Here you are, and more importantly, here are our rankings. So before we get to those, there are some notes we have to talk about. Let's see. So, as a panel, we as me and invisible panel that's not even here, we all discussed some things that we want to improve for next year, as we always do. And Lindros's little survey that he did a minute ago was also very helpful in the fact that multiple people say they wanted some pre-parties, some post-parties, something kind of to be more than just a spike ball tournament, Roundnet tournament. Something to kind of bring the community back. And I thought about that, and something that I really wanted to do, because I know right now, especially like intermediate players, right, they come to pick up and they're kind of like on their own, and they don't really have that bond with the more elite advanced players that Utah Roundnet used to have a ton of, right? I mean, we used to have 60 intermediate teams at a tournament, and the rest of those who had moved up and like pretty fresh from being, they weren't too far out of being intermediate. The talent level just wasn't what it what it is now, and so the community was a lot tighter back then, and so now we have a ton. This top 100 list, I think, is very tight and very dedicated, but we want everyone to get their friends out more. We want people to really be closer friends. So one big thing that we are going to be doing is for our majors, we're going to be having some sort of pre or post party. So I think we're going to try both. We're kind of talking about it, and there's pros and cons for having it, the Friday night before, kind of like a Friday night pickup, but also, people are maybe busy on Friday nights and don't want to do, dedicate a Friday night and then a full Saturday. But after a tournament on Saturday, people are kind of exhausted and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to try it both ways, kind of see. Some people might like it one way or the other, and they can show up, and you don't have to show up. We'll do like some pizza and drinks. Just be like, if you want, just get a whole bunch of Costco pizza and sodas. Everyone can pitch in $5 if they want that. Otherwise, you can just come hang out. We thought of doing so it's not just, come playing Spike after playing for 6 to 8 hours already. We'll do some in my backyard where we got hype ball, we got pickleball, we got volleyball. We can do some 3v3 fun tournaments and kind of keep it for just for free. Just it's just a little way to have some side fun to a tournament. So play 4v4 2-net, 3v3 with sides. I think Church actually came up with the idea of doing like a squad where you have like elite players or panel members or however we do it, but top players going and mingling with the intermediate players during the tournament and saying, like, kind of drafting them throughout the day and say, hey, I want you on my squad. And then the after party, we just do a little squad tournament, and that's a good way for intermediate players to be able to learn and mingle with some top players and whatnot. So anyway, a lot of things that we want to encourage there. So anyway, if you want to comment, by the way, you do need to be a subscriber. So there's that. Please give any ideas, whether text me, throw it in the comments. Ideas you have. Particularly again, trying to kind of get that some fresh blood into the scene, into the community. I have been working a lot with in communication with some bigger organizations. When our tournament with BYU Athletics was huge, and so next year, on top of our majors, it's a huge focus is going to be working with these kind of big influencer type organizations to try and again just kind of get new people in and things like that. So let me see here. Okay, cool. Well, hi Ben Hall. Oh, well, we got a couple panel members on the stream, so there's that. Okay, so we are starting, as we did last time, starting in reverse order. So with number 100, that's we always have a little, something there. Sponsors. Okay, our sponsors have been awesome, especially, those top ones there. KBS Apparel gave us hundreds of dollars worth of swag and jerseys throughout the year's prizes. Home is there at almost every major. Taking photos, giving out creamies and Cafe River gift cards and shirts and all sorts. Fabulous Freddy's gave out probably over $1,000 worth of car washes, and Splash Summit giving away all day free passes. On the way down, obviously, you have Noah Socks. They came to a couple of tournaments and gave out like 50 total socks between both of them. Spikers League, that's going to happen this spring. Details to come. That'll be both for youth and adults. Up and Go, Progression did that huge, that logo on Progression is not very visible on the stream, but they gave out like $750 of cash up in Rexburg. Anyway, so big shout out to all of our sponsors making things very possible. So, great. How many people do we have? I feel like we don't have, do we have a lot? I can't tell. Why isn't it showing it on my screen? Oh, 24 people. 24. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I'll take 24. Alright, so let me make sure that I don't go backwards here. And there we go. Okay. The top, I can't even see that on my screen. So I need to open this guy up right here. Hopefully there we are. Okay. So, we've got, so one thing is, and this is going to go pretty quickly, again, there's no other panel members to discuss with, so should go quickly. Also, it will go quickly because there weren't a lot of tournaments since the last rankings. Timing was kind of weird, because we wanted to do it like right after the tour stop, but then we had state championships and then just a few opens by then. Hello, lovely wife. Oh, tell him to go to sleep. Isn't he reading a book anyway?
Yeah, but you're reading that one.
Okay. Guys, I have to be quieter. I'm going to be quieter. I'm going to be loud. So not a lot of movement, particularly kind of in that bottom 50. There's a few people that, showed up a lot, had good example or good results. Some missionaries came back, particularly from the guys from West Jordan and Viewmont. Those guys have been around for a little bit longer, but West Jordan guys coming up. So they're kind of popping up on here. But anyway, other than that, not a whole lot of a lot of movement, just some people kind of showing up, doing pretty well in advance here on as this group here. Great to have, Levi Arzak doesn't come around anymore, but Levi Ashurst McGee, he's one of my favorites that left 2 years ago and finally came back. If we go to the next slide, there we are. We've also got, I think Russell's on there, right? Where's Russell Fippen? Maybe he's further up there. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know what a whole lot to say here. Oh, let's see. Alright, there we go. Okay. So let's see. Michael Sampson, he had a good result with Ramey. I know Nate is coming around, so he hopped David Larson and Caitlin Rue, who I think were above him. David and Caitlin haven't been around. Caitlin got married, congrats. Sage was doing really well, but again, hasn't been around a whole lot this quarter. Andrew Yeager, that is Pac's buddy from Washington, who is now here. Stephen Goodrich, Goodrich plays with Luke. Josh Freeman. I get the West Jordan and Beaumont guys mixed up, but Josh is with Scotty, Seth Lee, Scotty Cutler, and them. I think that's Beaumont. Preston Haight back. Big shout out to Preston for hooking us up with that BYU tournament. And it was good to finally have him back. He was in California all summer, I believe. Laz and Ty right where they were. Ty, welcome to the panel. There's Seth Lee, as I mentioned. So, again, I don't know a whole lot of details, but I'm just going to tell everyone who everyone is, I guess. All right, next up. All right, so this is kind of the next group of what we expect to be elite. Jacob and Brum have been right on the cusp like 5 different times. So they just got to put a whole tournament together. Scotty Cutler, where is Seth? Oh yeah, Seth was right there on the last page. Okay. Is Russell? Oh, there's Russell too. Russell's right below Levi. Okay, there we go. I'm just blind. Okay, so yeah, and you've got so Seth Lee, Scotty Cutler. They're down at BYU grinding. They're going to be real good, real fast, and keep climbing these ranks. That's the biggest thing is when you're low elite, like that's when you've got to not just kind of coast. You can kind of make your way up through advanced by just kind of showing up and being a little bit better. Once you get into elite, though, it's those who practice, those who grind more, will, obviously be better. So, so anyway, keep going up. Speaking of grinding, Elijah and Tayson up at Utah State, they're getting together like twice a week with a group of people up there, which is very good to hear because I'm also working. We should be having a Utah State tournament next spring. So that's really good for our Utah State guys to keep going. Speaking of, Jesse Marchant is back and headed up to Utah State as well. So hopefully we get a good crew up there. Home of our inaugural Utah Roundnet tournament. We've got our Skyridge boys, Aaron and Max there. Again, they've just kind of been showing up. Cade's been hurt and fell down on a spot. Johnny and Todd's been around a little bit. Johnny got a girlfriend, I hear. So that always ruins things. Alright, next up. Let's see, make sure comments, blah, 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 blah. Saul, are you really an admin? That's funny. Yeah, sweet. Solomon's good on the comments there. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see here. We've got Jason. Jason has had some good results. I assume he's probably going to qualify for elite the non-traditional way, which will be making pro bracket, which is going to change. We might actually have to rethink that. Another thing for next year, there will be, I think we're just going to pause here. Okay, so next year, particularly at majors, there will be a separate premier division. Now elite is huge, right? And we're separate to a pro bracket, but you still got the top guys, and they're killing newly elite players. And like, yes, it's good to kind of learn from them, but I think overall, it's probably people are gonna have more fun playing more of their skill level. Again, there'll still be try to have some mingling events, but and opens, of course. But so premier division will need one premier player, and that will be kind of if you've ever been premier, you can do that. And then elite will be separate. So that's going to be a little bit better for these low, newly elite players. So they can kind of come in and play a little bit more fun. And the premier guys can actually go hard for an entire tournament and not have to blow anybody out 21-4 to get to get point diff. So hopefully that should help. But Jason, so he's got to qualify. Doesn't have to, but he'll end up qualifying one way or another. I'll figure out what the new way to qualify for elite by playing in elite is. Figure that out. Let's see, Jaden getting that elite with Ben Ivins. Again, a lot of people on this page, kind of you see all those negatives at the top left. So just kind of people not being active. I know Britton got married, and Morgan was best man or singing at his wedding, and that was the state championships. So they weren't there for that. But Brad Smith, you've been around for a minute, we miss you. Okay, moving on up. Where am I? There we are, and there we are. Okay, alright. So, again, middle of this list right here. Basically people who haven't been around. Hertzlers, will you show up again? You were like the anchor to Utah Roundnet once upon a time. And then Tate left. Actually, Tate was on his mission, he was fun. Anyway, Hertzlers, come back. Chandler, I know we got you. Also, condolences. So Ashton Lee fell. That actually surprises me. I'm not sure what happened there. Because I know everyone's been super high on you, Sky Ridge boys. You see Elijah and Ethan, they moved up. Maybe it was an oversight. Big ups to John Hickmont though, getting that gold star, going to Natties, and moving up 14 spots. So good on you, John. Cannon's been super active and grinding, so he's going to keep moving up. Ben Goats, we miss you. We know we lost your brother to a mission, but that doesn't mean we lost you. Yeah. Threat level midnight. Brady got injured and had a baby. Congrats on the baby. And Joe has, I don't know if Joe has a good excuse besides Brady's not been around as much. But that's that. Then moving on up, another congrats to Kian, getting that gold star as well. Played with Shundi. John played with somebody from Texas, maybe? Anyway, so good on you guys. Alright, and for the full 26. Alright, so the rest of this list is the first part of what the panel did. So if you weren't familiar, the top 25 were all voted on by the top 30. So we took about the top 30, there ended up being like 32 people who had been discussed in that top 25 range, plus any premier players. So premier players will always get a vote regardless of where they're ranked, and then we'll probably take the top 30 and any others that the panel kind of decide, hey, they should be in that discussion for top 25. All vote on the community together, take the top 25, that's locked in by the community, and then the panel goes 26 onwards. So Ben Hall, the panel actually had him in, I think at 23. Community pushed him out a little bit, so he went to the top of what the panel had to say in. Tamang, the panel also had you up there. So just so you guys know, it's really hard, honestly, when there's so many top 25 players out there, and as I'm going through this, we've got premier players down in the 40s, and one in the 30s, and there's going to be another handful of these guys that make it this next year. So it's tough, and that's cracking in, and when you want to be a new top 25 guy, that means you have to kick somebody else out. So it's a hard thing to do. But it's it happens, and we've got a couple examples we'll get to. But anyway, Ben Ivins on there, dude. I'm glad to have him back. He's definitely low, but he only won state championships. But he freaking kicked butt when I played with him, and yeah, so he will be easily premier if he plays. Matt Barlow, Spencer, yeah, Kunkler, you showed up real well in Dixie. I know a lot of people think you're higher than that. Again, Brady's only dropped because of inactivity, and people kind of said, well, they were really good, and so you had to reward them. But Brady's, right, there's like 5 guys right there that are in the top 25 that aren't. So, Greer, everyone's high on. Connor, I can't believe he's falling into almost 30. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, going through comments. Yeah, Jason's gonna keep getting better. Aviators who John played with. Alright, cool. Alright, everyone's happy. Only 14 people watching now. That's great. Because now's like when we get to the top 25. Anyway. Okay. Alright, so here we go. Okay. Alright. Ben Arazzo and myself, the only ones who stayed stationary. Mundy jumped us. Shundy jumped us. Shundy's huge. Yeah, I mean, far and above. Again, he grinds with Pack. Get a coach. Okay, we've got our URA coaches in Chandler and Solomon and Bryant and missing one more. I know Church does. He's not URA sponsored, but the other ones are. Anyway, get a coach. Train with them. Go to RSL over the winter. All sorts of good stuff. So, anyway. Again, it's just kind of people. Matt dropped for inactivity. Creech dropped. I think he was a little high. I think a lot of people even think he's lower than that. I don't think so. He's got a lot of experience. He just doesn't come out. Unfortunately, we couldn't show anything at Nationals because I broke my back. So he couldn't do anything with me. So anyway, and finally the rest of the list. Pack, unanimous =1. So, congrats to him on that. Saulboy jumping up. He showed his stuff, so good for you, Solomon. Church staying put. Chandler dropping. Garrett staying put. Grant dropping, leaving room for Lindros and Devin to move up. Zach has looked really good, even though he's like playing or not. He seems he only wants to play when he has to travel. Something like that. Sad to see Stokes drop 1. That, in fact, a lot of these, when the last like 4 votes, I was kind of tracking it as the voting are coming in. And like that 7 to 11 kept switching around. Like with every new vote, they'd switch. It's kind of funny to track. Tanner, hey, big ups to you. Winning state championships. Just super impressive to clutch up and pull that off. So hopefully we're going to see more, even if it's more casually next year. Cody's looking great. So there we are. So next up, let's see. Yes, Danny, we were all very high on Danny, and I think it's just, you had to have, maybe Greer, based on his results, shouldn't have jumped that much. Ben's got to go up though. Again, Nick, the fact that Nick dropped 1 is, it's hard pill to swallow. I think honestly, it's just tough with how they all lined up and with that top 25 being locked in, and that's kind of what the panel had to deal with afterwards. Danny, he's been killing it. Great support player. Just super consistent. Doesn't necessarily have the firepower, but very difficult to ace. Plays very clean. And so if he has a partner that does have that firepower, that's a huge key to winning. So, is there anything else there? Okay, cool. Alright, so next we've got the adopted, I believe. There we are. There's the adopted rankings. Yeah, there it is. So big thanks to Trey, Alex, and Caleb helping me put these together. They weren't quite what they had sent over, just kind of based on, they had everyone up like 3 to 5 spots, and just based on results and where that was, because they didn't know what the Utah rankings were, so they kind of like put in numbers. But just kind of based on where they were, it just kind of kicked everyone down a little bit. Again, big congrats to Harold earning a gold star on here. And then those top 3, man, Tal, Trey, and Caleb, just killing it. So, yeah, again, Tal arguably should be T1 in a lot of people's eyes from winning state. But regardless, great list. Most of these guys are climbing the ranks. Idaho, Montana, you guys are grinding probably more because you guys have a little closer communities, a little more tight knit, so you guys are grinding together. So keep it up, keep climbing, keep coming to Utah. We love you. We're going to keep doing one in Rexburg, working with Trey to see if we do one in Montana or if he kind of runs it himself. Anyway, try and reward you guys and get up to you guys. Also, speaking of different communities, remember Phoenix is going to be January 14th. We've got our state squad, so bring your best 6 to 10 players from your state. Saturday will be a normal 2v2 tournament, and everyone can come. And you can bring multiple squads. You can have a B squad and the 6-person squads as well. Anyway, so should be a great fun tournament. And then in February, you've got the American Spikers League squad tournament, a little bit different format where they've got only 3 premier players and then 4 others in the top division. Then you just have the contender division. So kind of more on the depth of the community, and the Phoenix tournament is more your top guys and which state has the best top guys. So I know we're gonna have at least the states from the surrounding west. I know Illinois is trying to get one, Texas is trying to get one. We'll see who else might travel, but hopefully we'll at least have Idaho, Montana, multiples from those, multiples from Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California is bringing a few. So anyway, should be a really fun tournament. Also, it's like 70 degrees in January there, and on the best grass you'll ever play on. It's like a golf course fairway. So Church has played in now 120 tournaments, and he said that is the best surface he's ever played on. So other than that, I think again we kind of cut this in half. Yeah, if you're around, I'll see you at RSL in just over an hour, and we'll get playing. There are a couple other fun things coming next year, but can't quite say them yet. But anyway, hope everyone enjoys, and see you all very soon.